But yes, it is. It's all behind me, and so I don't see it.
Well,
I ignore it.
that's good. See, all
I
of
mean,
my mess is over there, so I can't see it either. There's 3 monitors in front of me.
that helps. Mine's in an off-camera corner that I can't see and the camera can't see, so it works.
I'm
Perfect.
like in the middle of redoing my entire office, so hopefully I can fix it soon enough.
I'm afraid I'm going to get kicked out of my office soon. I work from the MSP when I'm at home, and they're just growing like crazy. And I'm like, I guess I can leave if you want me to. And they're like, Tara, it's only one office. That really doesn't do. I'm like, please don't make me leave. I love it here.
Does Darren own the MSP as well?
Yeah, Darren and Brett, his business partner.
Oh, okay. So a friend got us this, and I was like, I didn't know what it was, and then I read the tag, and I was like, Tara.
What is it? I can't see it. Oh God, what is a Jellycat? Sorry. I love Jellycats. Oh my God.
And I was like, I've never heard of this besides you. You're the only person I know that talks about these, and now there's one in my house.
Now you're a Jellycat enthusiast.
Yes.
Oh my God,
I
only have one.
So what makes Jellycats unique to like the Thai babies and stuff from the 90s? Or like, what's the difference?
So I feel like they're kind of the same thing, right? But these have been around, I think, that long.
Okay.
But they keep doing these pop-ups different places. Like they had one in London, and it was like a fish and chips shop. And so you could only get the Jellycats there, and they would like wrap them up like fish and chips. It was really cute. I didn't get to go to it, but yeah. Different cities have different ones. But it started because, do you guys know Caitlin Jopp from Channel Program? She used to be at Avic.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
We're really good friends. And so for Christmas one year, there were 2 Jellycats that are attached, and they're both marshmallows. So she cut them apart and gave me one. And she travels with one and I travel with one. So mine's Melly and hers is Marshall. So it's like our little bestie thing.
It's like your friendship bracelet, basically.
We're children. My job is making inner 13-year-old Tara happy, I swear. And I did see some feedback today from somebody on this call. I don't know if it came from today.
Well, you saw that?
Yeah, I get all the feedback surveys. And I was like, I'm going to be on that podcast.
So actually, I totally forgot about the original date during the day, because it's on my calendar for the evening, so I'm not looking at it. And then I started my Immybot trial that day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started my subscription this week. So it's kind of like it was perfect that you delayed it, because now I've been in it for longer.
Well, your little feedback, I can't even remember what it said, but it was really funny. It's gone around the company now and everybody loves it. And they're like, can we quote that on the website? Because it was great.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
Ben and I were talking about Emmy earlier today, because, we're having a podcast with you. And then we were looking at like all the history of like, you guys have only been around for 5 years, the product itself. Right. And I was like, dang. And then I looked at the pricing and I was like, dang, that's so cheap compared to today. So, damn, missed out.
I think it's kind of like the SaaS like baseline, right? Though, because like at the time, like 200 was that number. And now I feel like the SaaS number is 500 for starting out on most things. Like it's the market.
And we're still under that for starting out, just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, we learned from that. Like, we didn't know. I mean, we didn't know what we didn't know. We knew how to run an MSP. We knew how to price for an MSP. So it was like, sure, we'll throw something out there. And then our gods, Microsoft, were like, hey, guess what? We're increasing our prices on Azure. And we host everything in Azure. So such is life, guys.
Yeah.
We just deal with it and move on.
Yeah.
But I still get asked about the Emmy Forever pricing. And I'm like, do you guys want us to continue developing the product or not? If you don't, cool. Yeah, I'll get you on forever. But if you want us to continue to develop and do more, probably need to stick with the pricing we have now.
Yeah. It's kind of funny.
I'm good as it is.
Well, you see like the AppSumo marketplace apps, and
Mhm.
a lot of times people come in and offer like a lifetime license, and then like you never get any updates or anything, but you'll see them like develop it for 6 months and kind of tapers off. Like
Yep. Yep.
developers cost money.
Use Sumo.
Think yeah, I don't remember what that was like. I think it was like $70 for, I don't know. It's probably going to die after a year, but it'll still be cheaper than Calendly. So I'll take it.
That's funny. I love it. I'm actively trying to get rid of Calendly in our company.
Yeah, we're using TidyCal. It's fine. It's a little clunky, but it's
Yeah.
fine. It's like 60 or $70 for lifetime.
Well, there you go. I'm just trying to get more like I was like super metrics driven running the MSP. So like I want to be able to like see things real time and tie everything back to everything we're already doing in like HubSpot and the ticketing and stuff. So it's drives me a little nuts.
Yeah, the
But
hardest
it's a
thing for me
different
was that
platform.
I needed a calendar that was able to do my work Google, my work person, my personal Google, and my work Microsoft all at the same time, and then be
Mhm.
able to be like, "Do you want Google Meet, Teams, Zoom? Like, you take your pick." And like nothing
Yeah.
integrated multiple calendars from the same platform.
Yep. That was
So
our issue initially and why we went with Calendly because we have consultants that own their own MSPs. So we needed the calendars that they use with us to like sync up with their one with their MSP. So yeah, it's been a hoop. That's life with software though, right guys?
Yeah.
Mm.
So I guess to check it on the front end, like, do you have meetings but up against this? Like, is there a time we need to be conscious of, or
It's like 6 PM here. I'm good.
okay, just
I
making
like
sure.
sleep, but I haven't been
Yeah.
sleeping well recently. So,
Oh,
it's fine. I'm a little tired today, but got my water. I already ate dinner, so I am good.
awesome.
I have a banana if I need it. Well, then we'll keep it short-ish. I am long-winded. Fair warning.
but in a good way. In a good way.
That's all the day.
Does it depend on the amount of sleep you've had as to which direction it goes?
It depends on the topic and if I feel like I'm in trouble. Because if I feel like I'm in trouble, I just don't shut up and it ends up being like word vomit.
Yep.
I'm an adult. Starting off strong here, guys. We're starting off strong. Christmas.
I kind of went over it on the email, but like typically we kind of start towards the beginning of like, how you found IT and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
how you moved through your different roles and how we got to now, and usually pepper in some side questions from there.
Okay. Easy enough. I can answer. Probably.
Cool. Well, yeah. Happy. I think we're ready whenever you are. If you want to do the intro,
Say, is there like an intro?
not like that official of an intro. we kind of had like an AI music intro.
I made an AI Immybot song the other day. I'm pretty proud of it. It'll go somewhere at some point.
Speaking of it, who does all of your graphic design?
Depends on which ones you're talking about.
Because I like it's all the different versions of Emmy are very cute.
So originally we had a marketing company that helped with our MSP. So they came up with like the original Emmy, and then I took it, and so you'll see like the pins and the
Yeah,
stickers and stuff
yeah.
we've had in the past few years. Those kind of have come from me, and I'm
Oh,
sure
nice.
we'll talk about that. I have a background in art. So I would come up with an idea and I would literally go to someone on Fiverr and send them our little character and be like, "Hey, I need you to make this out of this." And they would. But now we actually have like a full-blown marketing team. So I did tell them I'm not going to stop with my weird stuff. Like I just made a Lisa Frank inspired Immybot sticker and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to stop. So you guys have a
That's
budget.
crazy.
I got a budget and I'm just going to keep playing. So that's where we are. We want to do an internal competition for like each team designs a t-shirt and sees which is the most popular. And I was like, I will hawk that. Like, I will be like, nope, everybody's getting this one, guys. I will win. I am competitive.
They're going to have like a non-prize for people that aren't you, and you'll just have your own prize.
Even if I don't, I will find a prize. Yeah.
Okay. Are we locking in? Is it?
So we know where it started.
That's smart. I should do that more often. Yeah.
The letter M does it. Haha. So many marks. Okay. Welcome back to the Panda Award Show, where we spotlight the stories behind real IT. Man, see, I always mess it up. I always mess it up every single time. Okay, let me just do it again.
I like it. Keep going. Welcome back to the Panda Award Show, where we spotlight real something.
Stories behind IT careers.
This is going to go off without a hitch, guys.
Let me do it again one time, just in case we actually need it. Welcome back to the Panda Award Show, where we spotlight the real stories behind IT careers. I'm joined with my co-host, Ben Climer. How are you doing today, Ben?
Man, I'm good. I am currently taking tips for getting marinara off of the wall. We had pizza last night with some cheese sticks, and as I was coming in, my dog was really excited and made me drop the marinara, and it splattered all over the wall. So it looks like someone got killed in our living room, even though I've been working on it. It's great.
I think your best case is paint.
Hopefully not.
Magic erasers, maybe?
Yeah.
Magic erasers.
I think that's our next step. We're out of them. So that's probably going to be the next step is magic eraser.
Yeah.
You can get them real cheap on Amazon. Melamine pads, they're super cheap.
Yeah.
And then paint.
So that other voice that we're hearing, that is our wonderful, amazing guest today. She's a powerhouse in the MSP community. She does a tremendous amount of marketing, networking, just business development. Sometimes I wonder how she has the time to do all this, but she somehow gets it done. But she'll tell you she doesn't have any time and that she doesn't get it done. So
well.
I'd like to introduce.
Don't put any expectations on me.
Yeah. Tara Rummer, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I like your marinara incident, though, because I definitely had a salsa incident growing up, and it just reminded me of it. So I appreciate it. My dad had to figure out how to get salsa off the ceiling.
That's amazing. I'm glad it's not on the ceiling. Yeah, that would be a whole new layer of fun.
Just a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, but it's fine. That's what you realize when you're an adult. Like, random things happen and we think adults have all the answers. And it's like, no, we're just going to figure it out.
Yeah. And I think growing up for me too, you kind of figure out that like not having as much income also like makes you like weirdly adapt to things. Like you just have to learn weird skills when you don't have as much income too. It's a whole different layer of adulting.
It was more like, oh, that stain just lives there now.
Yeah.
Like we're just not addressing it. We'll put a piece of furniture in front of it or something.
I mean, that's how it goes when you're college age. You just kind of hide it over there in the corner and hope for the best.
Are you kidding? I still kick ice under my fridge because I'm too lazy to pick it up, and I'm definitely not college age. We're going to share all my terrible secrets. Okay, well, yeah, I'm doing great, though. Back to your original question. And I'm excited to be here. This is going to be fun.
Yeah. So, I mean, if for those of you that are just joining us this time, this really is a laid-back podcast where we want to tell the stories behind the IT careers to showcase how many different ways there are to get to like what you want to call success in your career. To go from starting out in IT to being happy and successful with an IT career. And you might not always have the happiness, you may not always have the success, but those are goals that we try to aim for.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like the even flow journey where like, I don't know, there's like a range, right? You're trying to hit a certain range maybe. if you think of it that way.
Well, I feel like success is a moving target too, right? Like one person's idea of success is a ton of money, one is having personal happiness, one is that weird work-life balance thing. So it's all
Wait.
gonna
You can only choose one? I want all of
I
that.
don't know. I mean, sure. I have no idea. I don't really know what success looks like for me. So I'm just having fun and seeing where it goes.
That sounds like success
Honestly.
now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's also changed as I've gotten older, right? Like it used to be about titles and whatever. Now I'm like, call me whatever you want. Just don't call me at all, please. I don't want to help anyone with anything at this. No, just kidding. That's most of my job is helping other people.
So I guess how did things start off? So I think, from an IT or MSP experience, looks like you have immense networks. Was that your first exposure to IT? Did you have technology on an earlier point in your life, or what did that look like?
How old do you think I am? No, I'm just kidding. So I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s. So we had a computer room in our house. So, like, that was my first foray into IT because my parents didn't know what they were doing. So I was, that last generation that didn't grow up with a cell phone in my hand, right? So I just kind of learned computers naturally. This is gonna date me so much. We played Oregon Trail at school. Like we had typing class. Like
Yeah.
I'm really aging myself right now. But that I think I don't want to say I was necessarily interested in computers because I was definitely like the girly girl and there were still like computer geeks were still like a thing, I guess, and you were like nerdy or whatever. But I've always kind of tinkered with technology kind of in the background. And once I got my cell phone, it was done. I cause T9 like no one else, no one's business. Didn't even have to look at it, guys. But yeah, once I got into actually like IT and working at an MSP, I don't want to say I fell backwards into it, but it kind of did, actually. I can keep going if you want. I'm just a talker.
Yeah.
I'll just rant.
No. No, I mean,
Tangents are my thing.
The
so
best part is
so
like we
what were
share.
you?
Yeah, like we share so much of that, right? We're all part of the same generation, and it's like I think I have a copy of Oregon Trail somewhere. I need to spin it up and play it.
Oh, I love it. Did you play Roller Coaster Tycoon? I
Yeah,
did. It was so fun.
yes.
Did.
Somewhere in my mess of an office, I have a book about Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Really? I love it. The only computer game on my laptop currently is The Sims. It's the only computer game. It's the only video game I'll still play, and all I do is build houses.
What, since we're outing you on this, what unspeakable things have you done to your Sims? Do you trap them in pools or rooms or anything?
Absolutely. Who doesn't? I will, yeah. I mean, not now. I've like grown out of that, I like to think. But when you're like younger and you have like a little boyfriend in junior high and you get mad at him, you definitely make him a character and then find ways to torture because you can't do it in real life. Wow, everyone's gonna think I'm a serial killer. All right, moving on. So Tara's journey. Where are we at with this? So back to the journey portion. I do not have a background in tech. Let me start by saying that. I have a degree in art history. I started college at University of Cincinnati with double major in marketing and accounting and a minor in international business. Hated my life, was so bored. My dad has always been a C-suite at very large companies, and so I just kind of grew up in business, and so being in business school immediately was just kind of boring for me because I was like, I already know all these things. I know what a P&L is. I know how to do all this stuff. And halfway through college, I changed my major to art history, and I thought my parents were gonna kill me. In all honesty, my dad was like, "Do you ever want a job?" Getting real deep here, guys. Uh, and a minor in women's gender and sexuality studies. So, and almost a second minor in Russian literature. I was like one credit short. So I'm all over the map here, guys. But
It's
what I will
impressive.
say is it all taught me critical thinking and just kind of using my brain. It wasn't like I had to explain things to other people, try explaining an expressionist painting to somebody who's doesn't know what that is. It's not just about memorization, it's about relaying information to other people. So I think that was super helpful. And the boys, I mean, I moved to Baton Rouge for a different job. I'm originally from Ohio. And I hated that job. I was head of HR for an engineering company, an international engineering company. It was awful. And I happened to be dating this guy who was a client of Immense Network. We were out one night and he said, you know what? Brett and Darren need someone like you. He went to college with Darren as well. And so he just knew him. He didn't tell them I was applying. I didn't tell them I was dating a client. Like, I applied, they called me and they were like, will you come in for an interview? It was just for like an admin assistant, executive assistant job with Brett and Darren. These two very young entrepreneurs in their mid to late 20s. I was in my mid 20s. And um, I will never forget. It is my favorite story to one of my favorite stories to tell about them. I've been with them now 13 years, but like, I showed up for that interview after quitting my other job, just like walking out and being like, I'm done. This is awful. I can't do this anymore. I go into this interview with Brett and Darren, and I show up at the office, no lights are on. There are two front doors. I walk in one, there's nothing there. I was like, okay, clearly this isn't the right door. So I go to the other door, I open it, no lights are on. There is a college couch, like a love seat on one side of it, the lobby, and then an empty desk smack in the middle. And I texted my sister, I was like, if I die, this is the pin of where I'm at. Like, I'm a little worried about my safety. And yeah, a guy popped his head around the corner. His name's Russell. And he said, are you here for an interview with Brett and Darren? And I said, yep. He's like, come on back. Took me back to a conference room, past a bunch of offices, also with the lights off, because apparently tech guys do not like lights. I have adopted that as well. And the first thing Darren ever said to me, the founder of Immybot and Immense with his business partner, Brett, is, you smell pretty. I'm not even kidding. And if you know Darren, it's just hilarious. And my response
it's
was,
only funny because we know it's from Darren.
it's Darren. Yeah. He's like the most unassuming, like, he's confrontational, but he's not like scary or anything. And like, I said, you don't get a lot of women in here, do you, bud? That was just the response. And I was like, oh, I'm going to like these guys. Like, they're weird. But yeah, so I mean, life went well. Me, him, and Brett, like, we got through their questions in the initial interview in like 15 minutes. And they were like, we don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. And we just sat there and shot the shit for like another hour. And I went on vacation, no job. And my mom was like, aren't you worried? I was like, nah, they're going to call. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, it went really well. Like, and Darren called me like a day later and was like, can you be here Monday to start? And I was like, sure. So completely completely accidental. I had to move 1,000 miles away to meet these dudes that now I've been with for 13 years. So it's really cool how life works.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. It really is. The one's wife will she gives me props for them being married. I bought all of her gifts for the first 2 years they were dating. I'm not even kidding. I'm like, I know what Annalise likes because she likes what I like, so I'll just buy what I like. And then she'll.
It's amazing.
That's Darren's life. And I'll never forget one time she looked at me and goes, I've loved everything you've bought, because she knew at that point I was just buying everything. So she'd tell me things that she wanted. And at one point she goes, I really didn't like the pearl earrings. And I went, he bought you pearl earrings? And she's like, oh, that wasn't you. I was like, no, that was not me. I was like, he tried though. That's very sweet.
His one attempt.
To say we've been through a lot together, guys. So now I work at Immybot, which is their other company.
Do you do anything over at Immense anymore, or are you fully Immybot?
So I'm fully Immybot in my role. I do still, two of them are actually here. I still coach the leadership team at Immense. So that's why I like working from the office, is if they need me, they can come in, shut the door. The COO of Immense is actually 2 offices down from me, and the director of business services is right across. So they're the only 2 still here right now. I was like, "I thought everyone would be gone, so I stayed here to be on this podcast, but everyone's being loud. I need you guys to be quieter." So, but yeah, I mean, I love the MSP space, and it's hard to remove yourself from something you love. So I like getting to talk to other MSPs now, I guess, on like a grander scale.
When you're in the office, do you ever overhear a conversation? You're like, you kind of eavesdrop and get sucked into a conversation somewhere.
I want to say no, but I definitely constantly wear noise canceling headphones and they're still loud enough that I can hear them. So I'll pop my head out and be like, "What you talking about?" Every so often. It's hard not to, right?
Yeah.
Um, and you have just because when I started with Brett and Darren, I was an assistant and we were a break fix shop, right? So I ended up building the entire administrative side of the company. So I did all the finance, I did all of the procurement, I built all those processes in those departments. And the one I desperately didn't want was service because I was the least technical person at that point on our team. And I was like, I'd watched so many people fail at it because we didn't know what we needed. And Brett and Darren's Evolve peer group were like, "Guess what? She's your service manager." And I was like hell I am. They're like, "She doesn't want it." And they're like, "Well, she needs to want it because that's how it's going to be successful." So I kind of got pushed into it a little bit, but I did tell them ahead of time. I was like, "You're not setting me up to fail. I need a peer group. I need the same resources. I want C-level. I need some coaches. I need all of these things if we're going to actually be successful in this venture, right?" And we were trying to move from break fix to MSP at the same point. So, I make a joke. I cried every Thursday at 2 p.m. in the bathroom, it was my scheduled breakdown every Thursday. I called Natalie Hell, who now works at PAX 8 and over Academy. She's part of the peer groups over there. And her and Adam Hanneman. And oh, look, there's multiple Bens. At least it is on my screen. I would cry every Thursday because I was like, everybody hated me. But, you're making changes. You're going from the Wild West to something a bit more structured. And that was great. But just from those journeys and building all of this stuff, even though it's been iterated on since then, there's just so much innate knowledge just in your brain.
So when you started out doing that, it seemed like you were kind of thrown in to the fire, but at the same
Yeah.
time, you knew what you needed for success. But how did you know all of those resources that would help you get to the next level?
So Brett and Darren had already been in HTG when it was HTG, and then it became Evolve when they got acquired, right? So I had seen their peer group. I had sat in, and I've sat in on multiple principals meetings and owner meetings for their peer group. So I had already been in a few of those, and I knew that they had service manager ones. So I knew going in that that's something I wanted. And I did my own research, and I was hearing really good things about Rex Frank and C-level coaching and specifically from Brett and Darren's owner peer group. People were like, "Oh, this has worked well." And so basically I requested what I felt like I would need. And I did a lot of research. I mean, I'm a firm believer in like going outside of just work hours to improve yourself, I guess,
Sure, yeah.
and learning as much as you can, right? I didn't know what I didn't know. So
Good mindset to have in the MSP industry, right? Like things are changing all the time. If you don't want to learn, you are not going to succeed. And that goes for so many industries, especially IT. Like IT is changing every single day. And
I
if
wish it
you
would
are not
stop
willing
every so
to,
often. Just like slow down. Just
yeah,
just a little bit. Put a little pump on that brake just a smidge.
more on the business side of IT, right? But it's
Mhm.
still so closely related and interconnected with how rapidly the industry changes. You have to
Oh,
change
100%.
goals, your mindsets, your positioning constantly.
You do, and you even have to change things that are, like, as simple as, from an MSP perspective, your structure of your agreements. I can't tell me how many times I rebuilt our agreements within our PSA. just because we thought we had it right at the beginning, and it was like, okay, we're going to bill by workstations and users and this and that. And then it's like, no, bundle and give one line item and that's all anyone sees. And I can't tell you how many agreements I've rebuilt over and over just to like streamline it and make it as simple as possible. And then when Microsoft did NCE, that threw a wrench in everything. And so, yeah. But yeah, I've been on the business side. But a big thing that the guys have always done, I thought I was like I wasn't necessarily doing everything right, and I kept getting moved to all these different roles after I would build a role, and I asked Brett. A lot of people don't know that Darren has a business partner, Brett. They met in 7th grade when Brett started computer club at school, and the only kid to show up was Darren. So like they've been best friends since I think 7th grade. Yeah, that sounds right. Um, but I went to him one time and I was like, am I doing something wrong? Like, you keep moving me. And he's like, no, I never want someone to be able to say, you don't know how to do my job. So I'm having you do a little bit of every job. So, like, I can do technical work. He's like, you're technically a tier 2 technician because you know how to critically think your way out of a box. He's like, you're not just following a script, right? And you're not doing these basic troubleshooting. You're going, this is stuff that, what changed since yesterday that's causing this to happen today? He's like, you're thinking through these things. So I really appreciate that they did that, and the next the next step for me, honestly, in the MSP, and we had spoken about it, me, Brett, and Darren, was CEO, because I was COO, technically. It was VP of operations, but we didn't use the C-suite titles at that point. So, when we talked about CEO, I was like, I had to sit down with him. It was probably at, like, a wine bar or somewhere. Like, when we wanna have serious conversations, we tend to go to, like, a wine bar or just, like, a bar or Topgolf. Uh, and Darren was like, "I feel like you'd be bored in a week." I said, "I'd be bored in 37 seconds, bud, but I know how to do it." I'm like, "It's like, we've been doing it successfully. I'm well aware of what it takes to run this thing and make it grow." And that's when he was like, "Honestly, I think I need your help in Immybot." He's like, "I need you to replicate what you did in the MSP because we used our own profit to build Immybot. So, like, everything had to be very in line, money-wise, process-wise, everything to take our dev department and turn them internal." So, and I knew, and I looked at him, I was like, "I knew one day you'd come to me. I was just waiting. I didn't wanna push it on you. I knew it was gonna happen."
I get to make decision plans.
Yeah,
I am the
so
captain now.
yeah, literally hats. Um, but from there, like, they wanted to give me the sales and marketing title, and I was like, "I don't want that." I was like, for some reason, women always tend to fall in the sales and marketing roles for SaaS companies, and I had heard of this community thing, and I had been kind of active now in the community from the peer groups and from going to conferences and doing things like that, and I was like, I want community." And no one really knew what it meant, and I was like,
They
"I
still
figured out
don't.
every other role I've done, so I could probably figure this one out."
They still don't know what community is.
I gave a little presentation on it. It's funny.
Was there anyone that kind of like you would reach out to early on as you were figuring out what the community should look like, or were you just modeling it on other things that you found? Or
So, I did a lot of research into just other companies, and from running the procurement for the MSP for so long and working with so many vendors, I had seen so many things I didn't want us to do. That was a huge thing. I was like, "These are things that people hate." And so we've referred to it also as like ethical selling, because you're never going to really hear us pitch our product. Like, that's not really what we do. We rely a lot on, I mean, we know it from our own experience. Community feedback and champions are the best way to sell a product. Like, you get stickiness, you like, honestly, we've been learning the SaaS thing as we go and how to run a SaaS company, because it is very different than an MSP. We're able to rinse and repeat some of the things, but a lot of it is vastly different. So I've really just taken pointers from people where I was like, "I don't like that thing you did. I'm not going to do that. We're going to do this. We're going to try that." And then from there, I was able to kind of lean a lot I'm really good with the guys that built MSP Geek, Martin, Kia, and Michael. And so I took a lot of Martin and I, whenever I need like a strong third party not involved in anything, he's usually my go-to to call. because he's just very level-headed and really good feedback. And then Ashley Cooper, I think, is phenomenal when it comes to building communities. So she gets a lot of random texts from me even to this day. So there's definitely people I think that have done it well. Um, and it almost sometimes feels like an uphill battle because it's such a nebulous, weird thing. And last year when we brought on a marketing, his name's Jason Cross, he used to work with Immense and then he went to WP Engine for 10 years. So helped grow that team. And he was like, I think I'm ready to come back. And I think Immybot like is where I want to land. And so when we brought him back, I was trying to explain this community thing to him and I wasn't doing a great job because he's very much like a sales and marketing guy. Like I love him. He's so good at what he does. But I'm trying to explain this like thing that I don't fully understand. So I called, I messaged Tracy from Huntress, Orisco, and I was like, hey, would you mind if we just did like a 20-minute call? And so she got us in her calendar and I think we talked for about an hour and she really explained the point behind community to Jason. And she's like, I need you to get the idea of metrics out of your head. There are things you can metric around community, but community is not sales. The second you put sales metrics on community, you've lost community. The idea of community is to give more than you get. So constantly be putting back into other people, constantly be educating people, constantly be helping others. She's like, your job, Tara, is to almost like make magic happen for people.
Right.
Like
Right.
make that impossible possible. So once she kind of laid it out, I mean, there's some people who are doing it so right. And I've been lucky enough to kind of lean into them a little bit when I have a hard time explaining myself.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how there are certain products that I don't use, and yet I'm a supporter of because they're just fantastic. Like the product's great. They're in the community. They're giving feedback. They're taking the feedback. They're working to make their product better and make the
Mm-hmm.
industry better. And like we don't have a use case for the product, but I will constantly be like, yeah, I know that. I will refer you all day because you rock. And like I know your
Yeah.
product is amazing.
I mean, I've done that too, honestly.
I think if you go back, like you hear the old like Macy's story where they would refer like parents where to go if they didn't have a toy that their kid wanted or something
Oh,
like that. And
I
I
love
think
that.
if you go back, it's kind of a similar vibe of like just being involved in your community, even if there's not a fit today. Sometimes that one person MSP today may not be a fit, but they grow someday or yeah.
My goal with community has always been to my job isn't new sales. I'm not metriced on sales. I find community to be a connector role and more of like a retention role in all honesty. But my goal has always been I want people to speak well of Immybot if we're not in the room. I want them to think good thoughts if we're not there. That's that's really the goal. And there have been people who've come to us and we've told them before that they're just not we're probably not right for them right now. And that's okay. Right. I'm like, maybe eventually we will be. And I've had people come to the booth and get t-shirts and love us and praise the things we're doing. And they're like, we just still don't use you yet. And I'm like, that's okay. Like, we still love you. Like, is there anything I can help you with?
It
It's
does
a good
help.
feeling.
No, there's no good alternative to Immybot.
I can't say that. I mean, you can say that. There are alternatives.
I said good.
I am biased.
I said good.
I'm like, I am biased. No, I think
A huge thing, right? It's making sure that your prospects and your customers are taken care of regardless of the timeline in their buying process. Because if you make a friend today, they will stick with you even if they're not going to buy for another 2 or 3 years. And when the time's right, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, like there's no other option because they're the ones that have given me all these resources these last few years." And like, I know the product works well. I've seen the product. The emotion factor is there, and that helps tremendously in the success of the product itself, my use case of the product, my experience with it is so heavily based on that emotion.
right? And there are people we worked with for years. I mean, I think back to when we first got on with PAX 8, I would go to bat for PAX. Some people hated them, and I was like, my customer success person, I don't know the title, account manager, they were great. Like, I could always get in touch with somebody I needed, and you build those relationships, and I think that's a big part about Immy, right? Is you see the core team, we're adding to it, but we don't have a ton of turnover of the core team, right? Like, I've been with the boys 13 years. Our longest developer has been, I'm the second longest running employee. Our longest is one of the lead developers on Immybot. He's been here 6 months longer than me. The other lead developer on Immybot has been here 11 years. So like they were here before Immy was a thing. So I think that's the thing is at the end of the day, we've always wanted to kind of do cool shit with our friends. And like somebody from Renata told me that. Connor from Renata. He's like, at the end of the day, I just want to do cool shit with my friends. And I was like, that is the perfect way to describe what we're trying to do. We're trying to help people and do cool things and feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
I know when I was at my MSP, kind of the journey was like seeing Immybot in the community, then seeing it at the conference. And at that point, like our MSP was at a certain size. And so the thing that we were kind of doing at the time is I forget what it's called. I think it's Windows Configuration Designer or something. But basically, we were making our own USB sticks, and you would plug it in, and it would go through the setup process. It would start an automate script or lab tech at the time or something like that, and
lab tech, yeah.
kind of run the installs from there. And that was great and all, but when you go from like 1 million to 5 million, and we want Ben to do other things like technical sales or something, he doesn't have time to keep that up to date. And maybe we need less technical people to be able to do that sort of thing. And so it's kind of where Immy was kind of that, like, the hit by a bus plan. Like, what if Ben gets hit by a bus? Who's going to manage the stuff?
Yep, exactly. And I bet you guys don't believe this, I'm a pretty dramatic leader. I never would say, what if I was hit by a bus? But I have definitely laid on the floor of this office and been like, what if I died tonight on my way home? What would you do? You can't say ask Brett or Darren. I need a real answer.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is like that's a real possibility, right? Like if you don't understand the risks to you're running your business or running your personal life, how are you ever going to solve for that? Right? You're trying to find a solution to a problem that doesn't exist, but it does exist. You just don't know what it is. So how can you make it happen? And like for us, when we started using Immybot, it reminded me of how easy it was to image computers back when I worked internal IT. And you'd be imaging like 500, 2,000 machines at a single time. It's like, okay, yeah, you're not doing autopilot didn't exist. You're not taking a flash drive to each one, but you make sure that the BIOS is set from the factory because of, volume purchasing, that Pixie boot is turned on and you have a properly operating Pixie server and your computers just boot to it and yay, they automatically set themselves up. Cool. But you can't do that if you have a fragmented client base and you're not going to operate 500 Pixie servers.
I mean, you could try if you want.
Try.
But that's like our MSP was doing SCCM. And so whenever people bring up imaging to me, I'm like, when they talk in relation to Immybot, I'm like, toss imaging out. It's not imaging. Like, just forget anything and everything you know about imaging.
I remember you telling me that.
Image.
I remember you saying that exactly to me when I asked you about it the first time we met.
I got really aggressive about it, and I probably rolled my eyes, honestly. I'm sorry.
We went down the same path, and it was always like the one outlier that like ruined imaging where it wasn't going to work for this client, even though you spent all the time setting it up.
Yep. I love to talk about one person from one client. They're still a client of the MSP. Great dude. He wanted Bluebeam, and no one in his company used Bluebeam except him. And I can't tell you how many times that man yelled at me every time he got a new computer. You should know this. I'm like, I know. Like, I get it. Like, but you're one dude and no one in your company uses it. So ever since the boys built Immy, though, I don't get yelled at anymore. Well, I also stepped back from the MSP, but still.
Isn't it
He
amazing
probably
how
doesn't use Bluebeam.
the number of spreadsheets that I've had that are just about, okay, this is what every user has. Let me put notes on a per human basis. Like, God, that is just annoying to maintain. And
It's time consuming. It's a waste of everyone's time. And we had it down before, like, while Darren was building like the prototype of Emmy. Like, I mean, we had clients sign the paper saying that they got their computer, everything's on it, and still 3 weeks later they'd be like, "Oh, I'm missing this thing."
mhm.
And it's like, "Oh, well, you signed saying we did right."
There's that kind of that fun aspect, right, where clients expect it to be identical, and there's just so many like nuances that you can't understand about the way that they use it. Because like, oh, there's like you said, there's this one piece of software that they use once every 3 weeks, and turns out they can't do payroll now because you missed that one piece of software.
Yep. I'm not going to say I know that from personal experience, but I might know that from personal experience. Suddenly there's a fire and we need it deployed right this second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess journey wise, though, just to loop back to that, like when Darren asked me to come over here, I said, let's figure out this community thing. And I actually thanked him and Brett the other day. I was like, thanks for like not forcing a sales team on any of us. We've done this kind of our own quirky, weird ass way. And we're just kind of like, I don't know. There's not a lot of community led growth within the space. And I don't know necessarily that it would be easy to replicate. I know that we sort of come from a place of privilege, still having an MSP, still running it, still I'm sitting in the MSP. Because usually when someone's software takes off, they immediately get rid of that other company. And we've been told for literally the past 5 years we were getting rid of Immense. Somebody told the team, well, some people from the team earlier this year that we were going to sell Immense. And one of the team members came to me in a panic. And I was like, who is telling you these things? That's not, they're like, I came to you because I was like, the only people who would know are Tara, Brett, or Darren. And I was like, first off, no. like, that's not in the cards. I'm like, I literally went to Brett and D and I was like, let's have a chat. Is there something I'm missing? And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? And I was like, okay, great. Glad we're all on the same page. Like, people need to stop gossiping. But I think it's just that's the norm. And we've never been the norm, I guess. When they started building Emmy.
Oh boy, Tara saying some things that maybe she shouldn't. So instead, we'll just suggest you go to the Immybot store. Go to shop.immy.bot today. Back to you, Abhi.
A lot of the like really successful MSPs, companies in general, the owners do multiple things. They are never doing just one thing, right? You look at the top 10 biggest companies in the US right now. How many of those owners are doing one thing? How many of those leaders are only leading their company and nothing else?
Yeah.
You know, it's
Well,
like,
and I think it's interesting because like you're both technical, right? Like, I mean, looking at the mess behind you, I assumed you're technical. I assume you're technical based on your chair. No, I'm just kidding.
we have the same chair.
But
The IT guy
well,
starter
you
pack.
have a background up. You can't see your chair. I have a different chair. But it's really interesting because coming into this, I guess I always thought owners were going to be highly technical because I had been around Brett and Darren so much and I kept meeting technical owners. And then I started going to more conferences and I was like, oh, there's a lot of non-technical owners. So I noticed the owners that were more technical tend to like stick with being in the MSP, whereas the ones that were more business savvy or whatever had their hands in a lot of different things. And I think it's because the people liked the tech part of the MSP. Yeah.
If you can't just do the tech, you know, you can still find the like technical mindset in a lot of different ventures. And so you can tickle that part of your brain by continuing to just expand. And the lessons you learn at IMI are giving a lot of benefits to Immense and vice versa, right? Like the synergy. That's a word that you guys like to use in business. There's synergy between the
No,
two
I
companies.
don't like to use the word synergy.
Synergy feels like an early 2000s like PowerPoint slide where you just like pop up a slide that says synergy.
And it's in wavy font, like fancy blue wavy font. Yeah. Synergy. Yeah, I mean, I think I like to tell people we have our own test environment, like for better or worse for our own MSP, I suppose. Um, but I get to hear, I mean, we hear things before they go out to you guys on stuff that needs adjusted or whatever. So it's I think it's definitely been helpful for us. And it's why we're so tied to keeping the MSP, in all honesty. Like, it's self-sufficient for the most part. I mean, they need help every so often, but I can read a P&L and tell you how the MSP's doing pretty quickly and tell you what we need to look at. So same with Brett. Like, and these are things we've just had to learn from running one, right? Trial by fire, I suppose. So, no, but yeah, I mean, Immy's been around for 5 years, and we're excited to see where everything kinda goes, and I'm, trying to be a little more open to some of the things that I was so, like, steadfast against that I hated, but there are just some things where I'm like, "No, we're not doing that, I'm sorry. I don't want MSPs to hate us."
Was there anything that kind of stood out, or that kind of stands out as you were switching over to the vendor side that you just didn't expect? I know you mentioned talking to, owners that were less, less technical, a little bit more business focused. Was there
Mhm.
anything else that kind of stood out, like as you moved to the vendor side of, oh, this is what like being the vendor for MSPs looks like, or even about community?
So it's funny. There's a lot that I feel like I've learned. There's been some interesting conversations I've had to have with people where one of my favorites is when people are like, "Emmy is so expensive," and I'm like, "Really? It's not." And so I start breaking it down for them, and I'm like, "Well, what's the most expensive part of your P&L?" And they're like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Your labor, by the way." Like, it's always going to be your labor, and if it's not, you and I need to have a business conversation about some other things. But it's been eye-opening to me, I think, seeing, and I think there's some companies that are coming out that are, like, helpful with this, and I think you guys talked to Dean from Empath, but there's a knowledge gap, and I'm seeing that knowledge gap, within maybe I hate to do the generational thing, but it's like millennials were kind of forced to learn computers. It was just like, figure it out, do or die. Like, I had to help my grandma with her freaking cable box last time I was in Ohio. Like, she didn't trust any other grandkids to do it, but Tara's visiting from Louisiana. So it's just like, it's been ingrained in all of us. And I have younger siblings that are 14 years younger than me and 17 years younger than me. And I see this, like, their need for like this instant gratification and their need for like, if I don't understand it immediately, I get frustrated. And so seeing that knowledge gap is really interesting, I think, just from my own perspective. And then not seeing people who want a silver bullet. I said this recently when I was on a panel. I get a lot of people that are like, "Oh, they'll ask if Immybot can do these things." And somebody asked Darren, I can't remember what it was one time, and I was in the car and they were an Immy user, and Darren, you could see his brain going. It was at Write a Boom the first year we sponsored, and we were doing the vendor dinner, and he's like, "Yeah, I think Immybot could probably do that." I said, "But we're not going to." And the guy just looked at me and was like, "What?" I said, "We can't be everything for everyone all at once. Could we start Immybot laundry service where we fold your laundry and deliver it and put it away for you? Probably. Are we going to? No." And he's like, "Do you always talk to your boss like this?" And I said, "Yes, somebody has to reel him back in." I said, "Because honestly, the man can build anything. I know he can." I'm like, "But highest best use of time." So that's, I think, the other conversation is everybody wants the silver bullet. And it's like, no, sometimes we all just have to put in actual work and build stuff of our own. And we're there to supplement and help as much as we can. But when people are like, "Are you going to build a PSA?" I'm like, "Absolutely not. Have you looked at PSAs in a space?" No.
So I guess on the amend side, maybe during the transition versus now, but like when you're like building things or automations for your amends clients, like are those typically like split role people, or do you have people that are like, you're just gonna do automations, or like How do you spread that out? Because I think that's a common thing the MSPs running to is like just divvying out the time to their technicians. If they're at 20-person MSP or even, or, especially the smaller MSPs, of finding the time to
Yeah.
do the right things they need to do.
So, when I started with our MSP, we were at like 6 people. And then right now, I think it's sitting at about 25. And there were a lot of split roles during the transition, right? But the things that are important are the things that you need to make actual roles for, and that's what we started to realize, right? You couldn't have a technician that was a dispatcher. You couldn't have a technician that was a service manager. So one thing we did do while I was running service and while I was running operations for the MSP was we sent every person on our team to PowerShell training. Everyone, dispatcher included. Reasoning being I needed them to have a basic understanding of the stuff we were doing on Immybot. And I needed them to have a basic understanding of automation in general. Didn't need them to necessarily know how to do it, but just have a little background in it. And so we have built out people that are scripting people within the MSP now, just because we are at that 20 something person one. But before that, what we would do is we would do time blocks for the people that were really learning PowerShell and really like diving into it. One of the guys used to do all our SCCM stuff for us. So we would put blocks of like 4 hours for him to work on scripting alone. He wouldn't get any tech tickets in that time. Like it was basically project work. So that was kind of how we handled it in the interim before we got them to be, full-blown automation people.
When you say, and this may just me being nitpicky on a phrasing page, but when you say send to PowerShell training, like were you sending them to like an on-site training somewhere, or you were just having them? Okay.
Yep. Nope. In New Orleans. Yep. So most states have a grant program where small businesses can get reimbursed for in-state training. So Louisiana has $3,500 a year. They'll reimburse you from the small business, whatever it's called. And so you just have to tell them what training you're going to take. You have to give them the receipt. You pay for it, and then they reimburse you for it. So we thought 1 year PowerShell training was great for what we wanted to do, and we were starting to really like want to get heavily into automation, and so we continued that moving forward. But yeah, there's on-site centers. We would send people for a week at a time. We would usually send 2 people at once so that they had like a buddy,
Yeah.
and they weren't in it alone. So yeah. But we were intentional about it. We knew it was something we needed, right?
Yeah. And that was kind of like a local company, or is that like a chain that was doing it, or?
I know that they had one in Lafayette and one in New Orleans. I would
Yeah.
have to look up who does it. I
Yeah.
think they probably have more. But yeah, they're just little centers, and you could do like live virtual trainings with them. I'm not a huge fan. This was even before like COVID when we started doing this.
Sure.
I'm just not a huge fan of virtual trainings. I think they're fine. I think in person's always better.
Yeah. No,
My
I was
opinion.
just curious. I haven't like I did go to an on-site PowerShell training once, but it wasn't like it was actually from Don Jones, who wrote PowerShell in a Month of Lunches. He did like a short, like a 2-day boot camp or something. But so I
Oh,
was just
cool.
curious with like the week-long format and stuff, what that looked like. That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they all seem to like it. Some people really took to it, and some were like, please don't make me ever do that again. It was like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's fine. At least you got the training in and you kind of understand now what's being talked about. So
Yeah.
When you first said it in my head, I was like, wow, you guys flew out Jeffrey Snover to your offices and have him teach a class.
oh
That'd
God,
be cool.
that
That
would
sounds
be
like
cool.
fun.
We are not that cool. I'm sorry. And Immybot's all remote. So like even Brett and Darren, Brett's house is like 2 minutes that way, and I never see that man. He never comes in this office. I'm like, every so often I'll pop by his house and be like, hi. Just haven't seen your face in a bit. It's funny. I see them when we travel together. They're going to IT Nation Connect with me. So well, they'll be there as the MSP. So we're actually bringing 2 newbies to Immybot with us. So
That's
yeah,
the one
it'll be
that's here,
good.
right?
That's in Orlando. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Then we'll see each
Yep.
other again.
Great. You can do a video testimonial for us while we're there. I'm not kidding. I just volunteered you for it. Sorry. No, it's good. But yeah, we'll be there. We're bringing 2 guys that started with us this year. This year? That sounds right. Never been to an event. So, yeah.
Nice. That's a big event to start out with.
I know. They don't think they know what they're getting themselves into. It'll be great.
That's going to be great. That's fantastic.
So I guess touching on that a little bit, like when did, you were mentioning like building community and stuff. When you start going to conferences, is that like a community piece, or what kind of drove you to conferences? And then kind of building on that, how do you manage your crazy conference schedule? Because I don't think I understand how you do it.
Not well. I don't manage it well. It's literally the next hire because I keep forgetting to book myself hotel rooms. So there's that. Like I was feverishly booking things for a trip in 2 weeks right before this call.
Is that why you had an Airbnb for? I forget what conference you were at. You made a thing about it.
Say Beyond? Was it Beyond?
It might have been. Yeah.
We did have an Airbnb for that because, yes, I forgot to book the hotel. But to be fair, I'm doing a lot of other things. And that's the thing. Like, usually I'm really on top of it. But when we started doing conferences, we started with IT Nation Connect because for years, like, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, like 10 years ago, there weren't nearly the amount of conferences we have now. Like, you went to one of the big ones, and you usually went to like one a year. And now it's constant. And I mean, we're still small and we have a decent budget, but like, you want to be at the big ones, you want to show face. I like the community-driven conferences. I love the MSP Geeks of the world. I love the Can ITs we just went to. But it's like, constantly there's people coming out of the woodwork like, oh, we're going to do this small conference with 100 people. Can you give us 15 grand? And I'm like, no, just no. And we're also big on like not paying to speak. So that's been a huge thing for us. Is not paying for a speaking spot at a conference. Like we'll talk to peer groups, sure. But usually I go in as an SME anyway and talk about running an MSP and not talk about Immybot really. But it's where meeting people where they are. And so that's why we started doing the conference thing. The first conference we ever did was IT Nation Connect. And it's how I realized I wanted to be doing this community thing because I'm that person that just picks up whatever no one else wants to do. And so no one was planning it. And I was like, well, I guess this is mine now, guys. I just started planning everything. And so Brett and Darren and the team show up and they're like, this is great. I'm like, yeah, because you guys didn't do 3 months of work beforehand. You guys don't know everything that went in. You're showing up and having fun. But it's, we want me to do a bit more of just, I like speaking. I like talking to people about, running MSPs. It's what my background's in. And just getting more involved in some other things. Like I'm on the Rejection Con committee. I was on the MSP Geek committee for their conference. Just being involved in these community initiatives more. So our next hire is going to be Rejection Con. Is going to be what? I love it.
I got the sticker up.
I know. It's so cute. Is going to be somebody to do logistics for these conferences because now that we're doing 20 to 25 a year, it's just gotten to be a little too much. And Darren desperately wants an ImmyCon. And I'm like, let me tell you what's not going to happen. We're not having an ImmyCon. Like, if I can help it. It's like, because that means I got to plan it.
It would be cool though, because I think a lot of those vendor specific conferences, like SaaS vendor conferences, there's not a lot of vendor specific keynotes given at those conferences, right? It's like they bring in people to do certain things and they talk about the product and it's great. And there are a lot of things that you can do. And Ben just made a face because Flow does a lot of stuff, right? But that's a whole other thing. But I think it'd be super cool if all the vendors that are friends came together to make like one super massive like vendor con where each vendor gets to spotlight their product and showcase their new stuff. Because half the time you guys don't compete with each other, you just collaborate with each other. So it's like it's a perfect opportunity to just bring all of your people together.
So there's not a conference currently in the making, but there are some really cool things that Immybot, Roost, and Cyberdrain are talking about doing together. I can't talk about any of it, but there have been some conversations just because it's like you said, there's things that people are doing that are really cool, or maybe people even like, I mean, we're about to do a webinar with Roost, and one of our power users between the two of us. So there's just really cool things that people are doing with these products that maybe we're not even driving it. They're driving it. And they're like, this is all the awesome stuff I've been able to do. But there is an idea in the back of my head that I have been toying with for a few years that is not an ImmyCon. Dear God, no. But it is more along the lines of what you just said, of bringing together a bunch of people who do really good things within the community and giving people face time with them to actually learn their products hands-on. Anna and I have written up kind of like an idea behind it and how it could work. Anna is my community gal, Lang. She came to me from ConnectWise. But it's a big lift is the issue behind it. And having help with these conferences, I'm like, this is a big ass lift, guys. So we're trying to be realistic with our time because I'm that person that's like, we could totally do it. And I'm like ripping my hair out and, crying.
You're essentially, you'd have to like reproduce MSP GeekCon, but the opposite of it, where it's almost all vendor focused instead of all general focused.
Yeah. So I think it would be good to have like a day or two of actual content and then have days of like deep dive training with individual companies. I think that would be really cool. Because we've had people come to us and be like, we just want to learn directly from you guys. And our product, I feel like it's relatively easy to use. So I'm like, are we going to have enough to teach you? I'm sure we do. Some people are using it in insane ways that I never would have even thought of. So
yeah,
I'm
right.
sure
And like
there
those are the
is.
cool. That's the one reason I love conferences. It's hearing about and learning about all these weird things that people are doing and like the cool things that they're doing with their business or their company or their MSP, their product. And you're like, whoa, I didn't realize that's a thing. And half the time it's like the last big conference I was at, it was I think it was IT Nation Secure. Right. And I was
Mm-hmm.
talking to Tom Lawrence was there. And like, how often do you get a chance to talk to Tom Lawrence, right? Like he's a busy guy. He's doing his own thing.
I literally talked to him the other day on a video call.
Yeah.
His wife and I have a weekly call with each other, a check-in.
Well, yeah, and that's on here too.
He walked in.
She's on here too.
I love Tom. No, he's great.
But like, like for someone like him or any of these people, they're usually really busy. And to be able to just shoot the shit with them for an hour while at a conference and you discover the coolest things and you're having this conversation about technology and processes, and it's like a candid conversation because no one's recording it, no one's worried about what they might say, everyone's just really open and honest about their opinions, and you learn so much. And then I can't count the number of times I've been at a conference and I haven't gone to the sessions and I literally just talk to people the entire time.
We have talked about wanting like a conference that's just hallway conversations. It's just like get everyone together because I'm like, so what you're talking about is a peer group, basically. Like you want to do peer groups. But it is like you get these little like almost nuggets of wisdom that you don't even think about. Some of it's process related, some of it's people related. I was just at PAX 8 peer groups a few months ago, and I was talking to a gal just literally in the hallway. We used to be in the same peer group together, and we were talking about leading people, and I was explaining how I lead Anna, and I said, finally I did go to her and say, I'm leading you how I like to be led, and I like to be led knowing the high level, this is the goals for the year. and then let you kind of run with it. I don't want to hold you back, or why would I have hired you to do this role, right? I don't want to give you all the ideas. But then I went to her and was like, "Is this how you like to be led, or do you need more restrictions? Do you need more structure?" And the gal was like, "I've never thought about asking somebody how they like to be led." I was like, "Yeah, it's an easy question to ask somebody, and you put it back in their court to say, this is the kind of structure I need." Right? So, and make them think about it.
That's smart.
Sometimes. We all have our things. I don't know. I fuck up a lot. I screw up a lot, guys. Cut that out.
Absolutely not. No, no, we don't know how scissors work here. There's no cutting on this floor.
Oh my god. I'm getting tired. You can tell the F-bombs are starting to fly.
Actually, kind of cool. If we play this, the recording in high speed at like 10x, you're just gonna see the window dim behind you.
I know. I was just thinking that. I was like, wow, it got really dark back there.
But yeah, it's interesting. Like when you talk about AmyCom and stuff, I wonder if it's almost like so when you think about flow, like I mean, I can talk about this a little bit. I wasn't at this one, but I think it's like you said, it's that community aspect and connecting with like people with shared experiences, I guess, is what people kind of seek out. And I think the closest thing that I had to that when I was at my MSP was LabTech at the time had a boot camp that you could go do. And I don't remember how many days it was, but like you went down to ConnectWise HQ and there was like 20 of you, and this was 2013, and we're like all of us that are in there are still in a Facebook group after all this time, which is kind of crazy.
Oh my god, I love it. That's so cute.
But yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's like those shared experiences that I think it doesn't have to be a con, but I think people have framed it as conferences now.
I think they have, and I mean, my job, a lot of my role is going to conferences and stuff, and even every so often I'm like, do we need another? Like, is this necessary? I don't know. I get the idea behind all these other ones, but sometimes I worry because I look at a lot of like different I don't know the plural of a prospectuses, and just some of them feel like money grabs, and I think that's one of my big like, well, somebody's opening the door. Hi. That's one of my big things is I like if we were to do something with Emmy and kind of like the stuff that Anna and I have discussed, we know we would take on like the heavy lift of it, like Roost was done with Flow. Um and we'd want it to be fair for everyone, I think, because it's really hard to have I commend Roost for doing it because it's so difficult to have a vendor agnostic conference put on by a vendor. And it's it's just such a difficult thing, and you've seen MSP Geek do it, you've seen Can IT do it, and I wish there was just like an easier way to do it. Because once you start getting a bunch of people involved, I mean, I've seen it with multiple conference committees I've been on. It's too many cooks in the kitchen, and it is. Well, I mean, we see it with some committees and other things just around. You got a lot of visionaries, need a lot of doers. Is what we need. You need a lot of integrators to just get things done.
And there's as the thing grows too, it becomes so much harder for your participants or your attendees to do everything. Like I'm rather fond of ThreatLocker's Zero Trust World. One thing, it's in my backyard, right? So it's easy for me to
Yeah.
go. But every year they've done it, they're getting bigger and bigger, and it's harder and harder for us as attendees to see everything or get through everything. And like the last one, it was like, okay, yeah, you want to go through one of their hacking labs? Great. There's 4 million people that want to do it, and we only have 3 spots, right? And maybe it's not that extreme, but it feels that way because if you don't get a chance to do something, it's like, oh, great. And then like the following time they did it, they like quadrupled the number of spots available, and they still had people lining up out the door, like maybe not getting a seat. Right. So it's so hard to do some of these tasks, these things at conferences as the host. And like, how do you manage that?
And you don't
as
know what's going to be popular, right?
Right.
You can't guess, and they'll be like, "Oh, sign up on the app ahead of time," and people have jobs and people forget until, I mean, I know every so often, even being a sponsor of events, I'm like, shoot, I should look at the calendar. I should look at the schedule and see when I'm supposed to be in my booth. Like, and it'll be like the day I get there. So it's just, I don't know. It's such a hard thing. And there's so many. It's almost like, which ones do you pick at this point? Because people
Yeah.
still need to be in their offices to run their businesses. And it's, I hate to say some of the content is watered down, but I hear it from so many MSPs that they're seeing the same content over and over. So we constantly are talking in group chats about how we get new people on stages, and how we get new voices to to just share, because it's a scary thing getting up in front of people, right? Like, it's terrifying.
It's like, for me, the hard thing is, like, I don't know what I would talk about that I know more than the people that I am listening to, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know that there's always something, but, the last time I was at a conference, I saw Jason Slagle and Dustin Bolander and Matt Lee, and they're
Mhm.
all up on stage talking about these things. I'm like, I can't compete with them.
So
They're
so
they're
It's
the
not
people
about
I look up
competing.
to.
exactly. So those guys are amazing. And they do explain things really well. There is a 5 to 10 year younger you somewhere who needs someone who's a little bit closer to where they are to bridge the gap on some
No,
topics.
see, I understand. I acknowledge it. It's the same thing I tell myself when I look in the mirror, but it's hard to actually get it done.
Yeah.
It's hard
It's
to commit to it and not worry about the failure or the embarrassment.
so I yeah. So I recently started speaking at events, and I was always of the same thinking of like, what do I have to talk about that I know more about than these other people or whatever? And it's not necessarily about knowing more, it's about maybe having a different perspective. So for me, when I started that whole journey, it started with Auth 66 on my LinkedIn, where I had to post one video every day for 66 days. And you know who the person was that texted me every day for 66 days and all the text said was video? It was Jason Slagle, because he said everyone has to start somewhere. He's like, and I was like, gotta go make Jason happy and make a freaking video. God knows what it's gonna be about. And I texted him, like, it's up. Are you happy now? He's like, thank you. So, like, it was having that accountability partner for me. And now I've realized I have a lot to say. And now they can't get
Yeah,
me to shut up. So,
and it worked out because, like, there's not a week that goes by if I don't see your face on LinkedIn. I'm like, where'd she go?
did she
Where's the
die?
video?
No, just kidding.
She
No,
finally died on her way to work.
I
No.
know. God. She died mid video. But Jason, that's the thing we talked about, because he sent me the video of, I think, the first time he ever spoke at an event. And this was like, because I was so nervous. And he's like, go watch it. And it wasn't great, honestly. Like, I
Wasn't
mean, it
great.
was
Typically,
fine.
they're terrible.
It was fine. It was highly technical. You could tell how nervous he was. And like, it just all takes practice at the end of the day. And I think that's it. And, you know, I adore Matt and I adore Jason, but I mean, those guys still get nervous. They still question some things they say, and they're still like, if you ever watch Jason on stage, he paces. Like, that's a nervous, like, habit. And he asked me recently, he's like, I think, or he said something about, I think we should do a presentation together. And I was like, on what? I'm the community girl over here for Immy, and you're like the security scary guy over there. What the heck would we talk about?
You could talk
I mean,
about
maybe
the threat of community.
the threat.
Yep. Look, that's just the title. I don't know what it's about. I just combined security and community together and said, run with it.
I like it. I like it. There's a pretty sweet panel being worked on for Rejection Con, I can say, that has some of the names in it that you mentioned. Because I basically was like, I don't know what I want all these people to talk about, but I want all of them to be on a panel. So we're going to figure it out.
That's the nice thing too, right? You get the right group of people together. It doesn't really matter what you talk about. It's going to be interesting.
Well, and everybody, I mean, I was on a panel at MSP Geek, and I was up there with freaking Tim Furnett, Brandon Martinez, Kelvin. I can't say Kelvin's last name, so don't ask me to. And somebody else was up there. Was that it? No, Ashley was the moderator. And I'm like, you've got all these technical people and me. I was like, why the heck am I up here, you humans? What are you doing?
Hey, you're a tier 2 technician. You should understand some things.
Clearly. I actually had never looked at CIPP, and they were showing some of it on the screen, and I leaned over and I was like, Kelvin, this is really cool. And he's like, did you really not know what it was? I was like, no, why would I ever log into this? I don't know. I said, I didn't know this is what you did. It's like, I love this, actually.
It's not just what I did. I made the whole thing.
You know, sometimes it's nice to be naive about things, guys. I can't know everything.
I saw a video recently of a boyfriend showing his girlfriend Avengers Endgame for the first time. She had never seen it before, and they're finally on. Watch the whole Marvel series movies, right? But just finally on Endgame, and he's just recording her reaction, and it was the most beautiful. It brought you back to watching it yourself for the first time, and being able to live vicariously through this person who's one of the 10,000 seeing it brand new once again, today. I love things like that where the naivety it's amazing. It's nice to have because it showcases how it humbles the person that thinks that everyone knows their product, and it gives the other person an amazing experience to discover something cool.
Yeah. I can still get surprised when people are like, we love Immybot. I'm like, you know what we are? Because the first time we ever did a conference, everyone's like, I had no idea what this thing is. I saw a neon light and said, I'm going to go see those people over there.
That's a funny thing to think about it. Is it like, we think about like, I don't know, like nobody specifically used this phrase, but like what I would almost refer to as cornerstones of like conferences and community where there are household names, kind of like if you're in the MSP world, most people know like at a high level what Immybot is or what Roost is. And you go to a conference and there's still ones that don't. And you're like, this is so interesting. But when you look back, like SIP, Roost, Immybot, all less than 5 years old, which is crazy to think about.
Is that true?
We were, Abby and I were signal chatting it, and you guys had made your subreddit in May, and the first like post announcing it was like August. Darren posted on one of Ray from OIT's threads for like, hey, can we get Immybot added to the tool list on the MSP subreddit? And that was in August of 2020.
It's amazing how many
Roost
cool
and CIPP, is that all? Or SIP? I call it SIP, but other people were like, what's SIP? Are those all 5 years and under? I guess.
Yeah. I'd have to check SIP. It might have been 2019, but I'm pretty sure it's under 5 years too.
And it's crazy how many cool new products have come to fruition since the pandemic. It was almost as if like you're stuck at home, your mind's racing, and these smart people have nothing better to do besides create something new.
Yep. Well, and for us, I remember when we launched Immy like officially, because we had peer groups, a few friends and peer groups running it for like a year ahead of time, letting us kind of break their stuff, and maybe like a year and a half almost. And I remember when we were talking about it, Brett and I were just like, Darren, we just need to pull it's never going to be perfect. Like, let's just launch it, like, and just see what happens. So, and everyone was remote at that point. So it's like, this seems like the ideal time for us to do this. Like, this is what this is meant for, right? So, yeah, it's crazy. Wow. And I would not say Immybot is a household name, but that's just like Alden messaged me the other day. You guys know Alden?
Yeah.
So Alden messaged me the other day, and somebody he knows is based out of like Australia or New Zealand, and they talked about getting to go to the zoo with me. I went to Taronga Zoo with like a handful of people, and I said, why did they talk about that? What were they saying? What's happening? And it was like, what's going on? He goes, Tara, take off the imposter syndrome hat for a second. He's like, you work with one of the coolest companies in the space and one of the most helpful for MSPs. And I was like, no, but for real, we're just like hanging out and doing cool stuff with our friends. It still just surprises me when people know who we are.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I don't know. We're scrappy little people from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, doing some things. I don't know. Like, it keeps us humble, guys.
It's a good place to be. Humble's good.
I guess. And I just want to pet the dogs that keep getting in the back of Ben's video. I'm going to throw that out there. I just keep looking at them, and I'm in love with these dogs.
We have, let's see, looks like Gimli's joined us. You want to? I think this is his first podcast experience. This is Gimli.
Oh my God, I love. Look at his scroll. He's like, please, God, put me down. At first, I thought he was a beagle. What is he? He's not a beagle.
Then we have Piper.
Oh my goodness.
He's our old girl.
That's cute. So what was it? His name's Gimli. Is that what you said?
Yeah. So he's a wire-haired Dotson.
Oh, he's a dog. Really? I didn't know
Yeah,
he was a
he
Dachshund.
kind of
doesn't look
has.
super long.
Yeah, he kind of has. I guess I forget what they call it. Like I don't forget what they call the coloring, but it's similar to like a Jack Russell coloring. But he's a Dotson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cute. Huh. Sorry, guys. I get really distracted by dogs. I
No,
love
you're
dogs.
good. We have a bigger guy somewhere too, but he's off doing his own thing.
I have a beagle and a miniature pinscher, a wire-haired miniature pinscher, actually. So, yeah, they are my life. I don't have children, but I have 2 dogs that are treated like children.
It's basically.
Well, my friends, do you have any more questions? I feel like I ate dinner, but I don't. Ben, which one of you didn't eat dinner yet? Somebody said they hadn't eaten dinner. Was it both of you? Was it one of you? Oh, okay.
I snack through the day and do like smaller stuff.
And y'all, this is late to eat. It's like 9. It's almost 9 o'clock. This is too late to eat dinner.
Are you? What's your time zone?
I'm Central.
Okay, so you're both Central.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Central. Do you eat dinner at 9 o'clock?
Not normally. Usually like somewhere between 7 and 9.
Really? I'm usually in my bed at 9. I'm such an old lady when I'm home.
I usually go to bed around like 3 in the morning.
What?
Yeah. So
What time do you wake up?
like 9 or 10.
Oh, okay. That's better. Huh. 3 in the morning.
I'm like
Just blows my mind.
I'm a midnight person. My wife calls me Cinderella because it hits midnight and like I'm gonna pass out pretty soon after that.
I'm tired up until midnight, and like the moment tomorrow comes, I'm like, it is technically morning. I'm awake.
No.
And it's worse right now because my little one's, she's 2 months old, and so she's up, and
Yeah.
maybe she wants to eat, or she's needs a diaper change at 2 in the morning, and so
Well, congrats.
yeah, she needs an Emmy onesie.
You want to know what's funny is Darren has asked for that. His son doesn't need a onesie anymore, but back in the day, he definitely. I will say I'm working on Emmy plushies. They are not ready. I don't want them to be a normal plushie because I can't do anything that everyone else has done. So I have an idea.
That's like custom plushies are an expensive venture.
They
so
are.
You can't just do it.
They are.
Yeah, so I understand wanting to do it right.
Well, and I want to do something special with it. So
feel like you're about to bulk buy Jellycats and get them embroidered or something.
Do you know how expensive Jellycats would be? So expensive. No, I would love that, but no, we'll do knockoff Jellycats here, guys. That's the Emmy budget. All right.
It'll be like Jelly LaFoofus. The jelly.
God, don't get started on these. I didn't even know what those things were until like 2 weeks ago. My sister showed up with one on her purse, and I was like, you are 42 years old. What the hell is that thing? As I'm obsessed with Jellycats.
You have
Yeah.
a really big collection of them, so it's nice. It's okay that you're obsessed.
Obsessed. I have one.
Yeah, very large.
I
collection.
thought about getting a second one, if that means anything. I contemplated it.
I mean, I think that's how that goes with stuffed animals, right? They need a friend if you have one. You can't just have one.
This is true.
You can. I promise. You can. What are you looking at? What just happened?
No, I was looking at my plushies that I have up on a shelf, but they're too high up to let a camera to ever see.
Don't have
A bunch of pop vinyls, but I'm about ready to get rid of them all.
I'm in that
There's a lot.
boat too. I don't know. I don't know what it is. You get like tired of them at some point, or just like they're there. And some of them accidentally are worth more money, which is kind of weird. But I looked up the values, and I was like, I paid like $5 for that, and now it's $50. So,
Yeah.
You should have bought 100 of them.
right?
Right. But how would you know that they were going to go up in value? Everybody thought Beanie Babies were going to
Yeah.
go up in crazy value, and like a handful did, but
Yeah.
most of them didn't.
Yeah, we recently found a picture of my sister with like a Beanie Baby when she was a toddler, and we looked it up on eBay, and they wanted like $300 for the one that she had, which obviously hers would have not been worth that because, you know, a child had it. It gets dirty, it gets torn, but
They have looked up some of, well, it'll pop up on like my feed or whatever, and it's like these toys from the 90s are now worth thousands of dollars, and I had almost all of them, and I was like, oh, they were not new in box, like they were ruined.
Yeah.
I was a child.
Yeah.
Had my parents known.
Literally, like they're not even worth that much. It's one person that wants to buy them.
Yeah, that's fair. I do I collect anything at this point? I don't
I
know
was
if
gonna say,
I
have you
do.
made any nostalgia buys where you're like, this was in my childhood and I really wanted it?
No? I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think so. I think I really would like a Tamagotchi again. I wanted to do an Immybot Tamagotchi where you had to keep them alive by doing like, you did your scripts for the day or whatever. I don't know. But I felt like that would be probably expensive and time consuming to try to figure out how to get a custom Immybot Tamagotchi made. No, I did rent a movie theater one time during COVID to go watch the original Scream by myself.
It's amazing.
Like 100-person theater, and my husband was like, you're not allowed to go alone and watch Scream by yourself in a movie theater. And I was like, why the hell not? None of you are going to appreciate it as much as I am. So he made me invite 6 friends.
Yeah,
As long
I mean,
as
I
it's
don't
that
know.
dead center in the perfect viewing spot.
Back in the middle. And then I rented a theater again to watch Chris's Vacation, and I made just him go with me. I was like, guess what we're doing in December?
That's a fun splurge. I like that.
Honestly, it wasn't that expensive. You had to buy like, what was it, like 15 tickets or something? It was like $100 or $150
Yeah,
to rent a whole theater. It
ours,
wasn't bad.
depending on the day, was like $80 or $90 to rent a whole theater near COVID. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because no one was using them. So
That's amazing.
cool. Yeah. So I got to see Scream because when it came out, I was 9, so I was not allowed to go to the movie theater and see it, and it's my favorite movie of all time. So
Interesting. Okay.
I actually have a pop vinyl up there. That's Ghostface. That's what reminded me of it. So,
Oh, well, if people want to find you, where can they find you? You're on LinkedIn. Anywhere else they should be looking if they want to hear more from you?
no.
Which
find
communities
me.
are you communitying?
Which communities am I communitying? I am active on the MSP Geeks, mainly in the Immybot thread vendor chat thing. I'm around at most conferences. I'm kind of everywhere. I'm hard to miss. I wear these sequin kind of obnoxious hats. And yeah, I'm super active on LinkedIn. I talk a lot, so apologies ahead of time. I make a lot of videos.
This was
Oh,
a lot of fun, and it was nice to have a long conversation and learn a lot more about you. So thanks so much for being here with us and telling the world your story.
Yeah, that was fun. I hope it made sense. It probably didn't, so it's
I
fine.
think it did. I think
It's fine. Well, thanks, guys.
thank you for being on, and we'll see
All
everybody
right.
next week.